Hello friends, welcome to another vlog. This week we are gonna help this little lady give me more badunkadunk than she currently is. This is the truly Victorian tournure or bustle. I love this bustle. I think it's great. It's perfect for most things. I would just like a little bit more shelf butt than I'm getting out of this ball that I'm going to in May. So what I figured is I just need to put a little pad in there to get this to go up a little bit. This mannequin has more badunk than I do. So even looking at what's going on there is not a truly accurate representation of how much butt I'm gonna get. So it'll look a little bit high on the mannequin, but it is what it is. I did a few tests on her, and my test measurements were, do I need to do padding in the thickness of reindeer, which is this thick, so maybe like 2 inches thick, or black cat, which is like 4 inches thick. And it turned out reindeer seemed okay. So we're gonna start by making a bustle pad that adds reindeer underneath this. There is some possibility that after that's done, I might add another bustle pad that goes over the top of it, but I'm not sure. And everyone keeps asking me like, hey, what pattern are you using? Are you gonna do it like, no, I'm winging it. I'm just gonna make a butt pad. Like, I'm just gonna cut a half moon out that is the size and shape that I think it needs to be. Make sure to grommet it so it has a little ventilation per Marika's way more professional version of this that she made, and then give it a try, because I'm pretty sure that most people back in the day sort of just did that. There are some excellent examples and there are patterns available. Like, I could go look in Patterns of Fashion and find all the different patterns and whatever, but like, it's going under my bustle. It doesn't need to be that precise. So I'm gonna do it historically accurately and just wing it. A little mail time for you. I bought this from the Lady to Tell. Ooh, is she beautiful? Like, oh, yes. Look at that sparkle. And some earrings that go with it. And she sent me a cute little brooch that is grapes made out of pearls, which I think is adorable. So I am super pumped on this. And I was like, oh, now I need to make a dress that goes with this. And Rebecca Mayton was like, hi, aren't you making a black dress? And I was like, bingo! So this might actually get worn to the ball, which I'm super pumped on now because I was looking for jewelry for it, but looking good. And fire opals, really good for Crowley. Super excited. By the way, we've settled on Crowley. I have a friend called Hannah and her last name is Crowley, so she's like, here's how it's said, and I was like, thank you very much. Am I making you all seasick? Sorry, I'm just watching the sparkle. I would also like to say a heartfelt thank you to you guys. I asked you in the last vlog not to give me 85 miles of medical advice, and every single one of you was absolutely lovely and wonderful and sent me hugs and thoughts and prayers and all of those wonderful things, and I am so, so grateful. Like, I can't even tell you, I was like crying when I was going through the comments because I was just like, oh, that's such a relief. I was very nervous that it would get out of hand because sometimes the comment section gets more full of advice than I'm like capable of fully handling. So I was very worried about it, especially with regards to like my mother-in-law, but that didn't happen, and I was so, so grateful. So thank you all so, so much for all of your thoughts and your happy words and keeping her in your mind and your heart. And you're all so kind, and I just love you guys so much. Okay, so I found this piece of cloth in my Cabbage Patch and thought I should probably just use this up. This dark spot here is actually the shadow from the camera from you guys. So I measured across my lower back and added a couple of inches for as far as like I wanted it to be. And I came up with the number 21 is where I want it to be, so I think I'm going to make this thing 23 wide. And then probably like 13 down. So 23 wide and 13 up and down, and then just make an arc is probably what's gonna happen here. I know that it's going to get smaller than those dimensions because as it gets stuffed, it shrinks, right? So that's why I'm making it a little bit extra big. Maybe I'll make it 24 wide. I don't think I can actually make this too wide because it'll just wrap around me and add hips that I don't have. So that's also fine too. I just don't want it to stick out funny. So I also was contemplating a little bit of quilting at the bottom just to give it a little like edge. So I actually may make it a little bit deeper than that. So that's what the plan is. Okay, so then we want everything to be symmetrical, right? So instead of drawing it twice, I am going to go ahead and line up where this dot and this dot are on here and cut once, but cut it in half. So hopefully that all works out. So so you should cut this into a half moon shape to bend with the curve of your body and go around your waist some. Now, I don't have a lot of badunkadunk, as I said, so there's not much there to curve around, and my back / butt is fairly flat, so it's not that big of a deal. I probably need somewhere around 2.5 to 3 inches of the curve, but I have to remember seam allowance. So I am going to go ahead and only cut this down at 2 inches. And then use the rest for seam allowance. So we have this piece. This is what she looks like right now. I'm gonna go ahead and sew this all the way around at a 1/2 inch seam allowance and then press her, but leave a little slit open at the top so I can A, stuff her, and B, flip her inside out. I have it sewn up. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to iron it as is, like in this format, flip it inside out and iron it again. My grandma explained the first press. And there's a difference between pressing and ironing. Pressing is just pressing, and ironing is moving. The first press, when you sew, the threads are linked through and then materials in the middle, but they're not like sunk into the fabric. And so when you do that first press right after you sew, it actually sinks the threads down into your fabric more and like sort of gels the whole thing together, making a stronger bond. It's also why ripping out seams after they've been pressed is so much harder than before they have been. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that and then flip this out and press it the right way and then come back and talk about the next step. Okay, I've pinned together a couple layers, like just 2 layers of batting here, and I'm just going to cut it out to the same shape. I'm trying to use up scraps in case you can't tell, but slightly less than what this arc is. And then it can fill out however much it wants because it doesn't really matter. It's not all the way through here right now, but that's all gonna get stuffed with that, so it doesn't really matter. What I want is like batting along the edge so I can quilt down a couple rows of this and have a little bit of tuft in there, and that'll just serve as like the very edge of it that's more flexible than the rest of the butt pad so that it has a nice curve basically. Okay, so I've quilted off the bottom, so you can see this like 1.5-inch-ish area is quilted. I'm gonna mark off some spots because Marika recommended dat butt ventilation life. So I'm gonna make butt vent holes, which I'm very excited about. I'm probably gonna stick a little bit more of this stuff in here to fill in this space so that they're all like the grommets also attached to that. In all the spots where it is, and then after that I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up, and then we will be pretty close to done. We can just close up this closure and stick it on a tape situation, so like it can go around your waist and put a closure on it and it'll be all done. These things don't take very long, but I do want to make sure it gets as fluffy as possible. Okay, we have butt vents, as you can see. I put in a bunch so that that can happen. And now I'm gonna fill it with snow and see what happens. Okay, so I got it to the place where it's stuffed and it's pinned shut at the top, and I just need to sew it and then put a waistband on it. It's like firm. Very, very firm. It's not super heavy, but it's also not super light. I would have used like batting, like maybe this kind of stuff, but I also think that this kind of stuff would eventually flatten more, and I actually wanted it to keep its shape really well. And I'm pretty sure this will, because it's very, very dense. This would make an excellent like seat cushion too, like on a chair or something. So if you ever want to cover chairs or like make new cushions for your chairs, you've got like wood chairs, so stuff it with snow. That's like the way to go. But as you can see, you can kind of see through it, so you can see all the splotchiness of it, because this fabric isn't quite thick enough. So that's okay though, because it's a butt pad and who cares, right? So anyway, tomorrow I'm gonna come in and sew this thing shut and put a tape on it and a closure, and it should be all good to go. Quickly popping on here to say, for those of you who are asking, yes, there was a winner for this book. It's Darcy. There was a first winner actually, and one of the rules was you had to respond to me within 48 hours, and that person did not actually respond to me, and I gave them a couple extra days until way later. So unfortunately I had to pick a second winner because this actually happened to me in my other giveaway also. The first person never responded, and I was like, but you know when it's over because I tell you in the rules. Anyway, so I picked a second winner and it was Darcy, and she got back to me, and so I'm sending this book off to her now. So yay! Don't worry, there will be more giveaways, so you guys can try again some other time. Okay, I closed her up. Can you see that? There it is. She's closed. I did a little tiny back stitch along here, and that seems good, and then I cleaned her up a little bit, although because the fabric is a little bit see-through, you can definitely see the like dark patches from some of the dark thing. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. So I'm gonna go sew a waistband onto this and watch Harry Potter while I do that. I have two things to tell you. One, I got the cutest, this is like a jewelry pouch thing, because I realized I started having like enough jewelry that I was like filling up this giant thing with boxes from Damsel in Mode. So it does have one of these things for like earrings that you can put in here, and another one for rings, but I don't really have rings. I do have earrings, but they're in here. All of these little pouches come in there, and that's basically what I wanted, was so that they couldn't like rub against each other. And then I put each one of my necklaces into one of these, and it comes with gel pouches, which is great because that's about what I needed. So, and it fits into this tiny thing. It's by Angelina's Place. I will add it to my Amazon store because that's where I got it, was Amazon, and they have it in all kinds of different colors. I actually may get a second one at some point. Like if I get, this is full. This is like dense full. And it does have a little room at the top, so I put my order of Dauphine and my other random brooches that I have in a bag at the top of it, and then I can still zip it closed. But I would kind of like a second one because I don't like being limited. And this is full. So I might get another one. They are pricey. This thing was like $50 or something, which I thought was tremendous for what I was looking for on Amazon. But to be fair, I wanted one with individual pouches that wasn't like a thing you had to roll. Because if you put those kind of necklaces in there and then you force them to roll where they don't want to roll, you can really mess them up. So I really didn't want that. And I wanted something that had like sturdiness to it and wasn't just like a roll. I didn't want to roll, is what I'm saying here, people. Clearly I'm on a roll. Anyway, so that's what I got, and I think it's the cutest. Definitely I would consider getting another one. So if I get suckered in any more Damsel in Mode or the Lady to Tell jewelry, then I have to get a new one, which is fine with me. Fine with me. Another thing that happened today was that I got a P.O. box. A few of you have been asking me. Some people wanted to send me Christmas cards, and I was like, I want your Christmas card, but I don't want to give out my address to like the internet. So I got a P.O. box. Dunzo. I will list that information down below, and I'll leave it in the description of all of the videos going forward. I would say that like, don't send me stuff because I don't know. I don't really want a bunch of stuff. I've got too much stuff. Letters are great. I love letters, and they make my little heart warm and fuzzy, so that's cool. If you have stuff that you like really think I want, like a stack of vintage dress magazines or, you know, stuff like that, ping me and I'll tell you if it's cool, and if it's cool then I'll take it. But just like random stuff that I don't know about ahead of time, maybe not. I love it, and I love that you might want to send it, but I also feel bad if I like don't actually want it, right? Like, so yeah, could we make that deal? I think that's fair. Also, my box is only like that big, so I mean, they can obviously hold packages and stuff, but it would be nice if like it wasn't stuffed with a lot of weird stuff. Someone once messaged me and was like, can I send you bird skulls? And I'm like, I get it, Like, those could be cool for like some steampunk situation, but that's not my jam. So, no, but thank you. I was actually talking to another person that I actually do like vaguely know, and she was like, oh, that would be like the ideal thing for me. So there's something for everybody, and I get that, but maybe not everything is for me. I'm gonna stop talking now because I feel like I'm digging myself into a hole. Here's my shovel and I'm gonna put it down. Okay, I'm gonna go do this waistband situation. I think I'm gonna I'm going to offset where the waistband comes together, like on my left possibly, so that not everything is like lined up on my center point in the front, because I think that's gonna end up getting super bulky. So, cool beans, we're almost done. The other thing I really wanna do maybe tomorrow is go ahead and take these petticoats up a couple notches. That's not gonna be that interesting for you, but I'll show you how I do it anyway. Fun times. The pad is done! Woo woo! I hand sewed this all on yesterday and then promptly passed out. So, but it's done. So I'm gonna show you the point of this now so you can see like why I wanted to do this. I checked it. It looks good. I'm pleased with it. That's exciting. Okay, I've set this up here so that you can see what it was like before. This is what it looks like without a butt pad. And now I will show you what it looks like with a butt pad. And there we go. So as you can see, much more shelf butt. So today I'm gonna take these two petticoats that I have, this one on top, and that one, and I am gonna make them shorter, which you can see how many tucks I already took, although a lot of these are in the pattern. So I think I need to make these petticoats like 3 inches shorter. I think that would get them clear of all the times that they've poked out. So these tucks are 1/2 inch each, so 2 sides equals a full inch. So I'm going to mark, first I'm going to iron this, and then I'm going to mark 3 lines that are 1.5 inches up, because there's 1 inch between each tuck. So you go up the inch and then up the 1/2 inch and mark it, and then the line is the fold line. So super easy. Okay, once I have them marked, I just go ahead and fold along like the closest line. I mean, you can't really see the marks because there's one right there. I don't mark an entire line, I just make marks, and then I just fold it and pin it, and then I press it so that that guy is in there. And then I go ahead and just sew at a 1/2 inch mark. And then I do that repeatedly through the entire thing. And that will bring it up 3 inches. Woo woo. Okay, so all the tucks are in this guy, so I'm excited because it's now shorter. I'm gonna put it on my dress form, although it usually has a bustle under it too, so that actually takes up more space. But just to check it out real quick. And then this is mission complete, which I'm very excited about. Yeah. Also of note, those of you who know about my this chenille situation that I got from Bernadette, because I saw it with her when I was in New York. My New York shopping vlog has me discovering this chenille worm situation. I just come over here and pet it because it makes me feel good. Anyway, Makuba is going out of business in New York, so I called in a little order, and Bernadette sent me a bunch more worm. This is more red than my red, and then I got some purple, but this is like the last of worm. Oh, this one's like spirally right here. Wow. I wonder, this one's cool. It looks more like a spiral. Anyway, I thought this was awesome. And I love how fuzzy soft chenille worm is. Oh, it's so soft. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about this. I love you, worm. I also got a few new books over the past couple weeks, so I thought I would show you them. This is the Keystone Guide. This is available for free. You do not have to buy this book. It is on archive.org. You can just Google that if you need to. Keystone Jacket and Dress Cutter Guide on archive.org. And it's notable here because Bernadette made her waistcoat from this guide, and I am hopefully going to make a waistcoat from this guide as well. It has patterns and instructions on how to make these things. And there's the waistcoat. And some crazy sleeves. Thought I would flip through it just to show you what's in here. Anyway, you do not have to buy this book. I bought this book because I deal better with in-person book things. I know you could just print it out. Me and my printer don't get along, and I was willing to spend the $8 or whatever this was to buy it, so I bought it. All of these books, I think, or most of these books will be in my Amazon store down below if you want to buy it with an affiliate link, and if you don't, that's also cool. Just go Google this stuff or Amazon it. Making Victorian Costumes for Women goes with the, I think, Edwardian one I got of the same thing. It's the same author. But it also has patterns in it. Bustle dresses, lots of pictures, talks about pleating, because we love our pleats. Has patterns, discusses all this kind of stuff. So definitely of interest if you are interested in Victorian dress, and it goes through the entire Victorian era, although you're seeing it backwards right now. Anyway, that's that book. This book got sent to me by one of my viewers, one of you guys. She is a delightful woman called Jackie, and she sent me a bunch of books, a couple of which I already had, and I'm going to save and use for giveaways. But I thought I would keep the two that I didn't have. Antique and Vintage Clothing. It's for dating anything from 1850 to 1940, and it is like super, I would say 80s, 70s. It's kind of awesome. I love it. Gives descriptions about how to date clothes, stuff like that. Examples of dress, that sort of thing. So it's not like a guide on how to make the clothes, but it's definitely things to look for so you can tell how old things are. Yeah. This is another one she gave me. Hats and bonnets from 1770 to 1970. Oh my goodness. Super excited about this one. I'm probably going to hand this over to Lynn for a little while if she doesn't have it so she can have a look. So cute. I might get to the Victorians. There we go. Lots of cute bustle inspiration also. Supposedly goes back to 1780. Yep, we're getting there. Some Regency bonnets. Oh, sorry. It's definitely lighter on the front end than it is and heavy on the back end. So like more modern hats than like Victorian or older hats, but still a cool book. I'm excited to have this one. And then I ordered this guy sort of against my own. There's gossip around this book, so I'm just gonna leave the gossip alone about it. And talk about this guy's about parasols and recovering parasols, that sort of thing. So I thought it would be interesting to have a copy of this book because it's like one of the very few books on parasols and guides to recovering it. So anyway, these are new book acquisitions. I hope you enjoyed that little number. For those of you who get excited by things like this, boop, boop, excitement. Next week, I'm gonna do the bodice and like check out that pattern, make a mock-up of it, make sure it all fits and looks good, and then figure out if we're ready to start on making the base bodice for the evening gown. The skirts are like no problem and I'm not worried about them at all, except maybe like the trimming of them, but I need to make sure that the bodice is going to work, so I'm going to do that first because I sort of believe in doing the hard stuff first. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave this vlog here. I'm actually really excited about this vlog because it was the first one in a very long time where I didn't do a bunch of other stuff that wasn't sewing. I just sewed in this vlog. I didn't really leave my house very often this week, which was cool. I did go to that Sarah McLachlan show and it was really good. Like, do recommend. I also am pretty pumped on the silhouette that I got going this week. The silhouette is the foundation of your garment. It's the thing that you need to make sure you have right before you even start working on your garment. So I'm excited that that stage of this process is done and I feel like ready to go ahead and get that mock-up started for the bodice. The skirts will be something I'm very familiar with and I don't feel stressed out about it all. And the trimmings are like fairly modest in that period, like the very end. They didn't put a lot of extra stuff on the bottom of their dresses. So I have some plans and I have some help with those plans, so we'll see if that actually actuates in the way that I hoped it would. I hope it will. Like, they're in very good hands, these things. So I'm not saying what they are because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up just in case something happens. Anyway, so next week, like I said, we're gonna do bodice stuff. Should be exciting and fun. And then the week after that, I'm actually going on my Pacific Northwest trip for 2 weeks. So I'm gonna take you guys obviously with me. I'm gonna bring you to all the stuff and the meetups and stuff like that. And the ultimate destination at the very end is to go to Vancouver, and that is in Canada, not in Washington. And we're gonna go visit Marika, and I'm gonna pick up Morgan on the way, so we should have fun times for that weekend. And then on my way home, I'm gonna go visit a bunch of like personal non-sewing friends who are people I've known for like 20 years. I have like 5 sets of like couples that I'm gonna meet up with in Portland that are living there, that are friends of mine. Zach, who you guys met in the Monterey vlog, he lives up there, so I'm gonna go see him again. And do a little bit of like casual non-costumey stuff on my way home, and then we'll get back right into it and probably start busting this dress out because it's starting to get down to the wire. And I have tickets that say I'm leaving at the end of April and it's basically March and I'm gonna eat 2 weeks of it up, so I kind of have 6 weeks to get this thing ready. So fun times. We're gonna get it done. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time with another vlog. Bye guys!